Channel 12, you ready over there?
Yeah, why not?
All right. So today I want to take a minute to talk about the boat show that is opening tomorrow and will be going on throughout the weekend. And I want to talk to people about the bags that they can bring into the boat show. And we have a little display right here for your viewing pleasure. Small bags are preferred. This is a great size. If you can come in with this size bag, everything will be fine. This would probably be okay, but we would prefer the smaller. You're not allowed to bring backpacks, you're not allowed to bring coolers, and big bags like this are not allowed as well. If you bring a big bag in, it will be subject to search. And if, lots of people, if you have children, if you have a diaper bag or something, you can bring that in, but it'll be subject to search. We're also saying to people, if you have a clear bag that you can put your belongings in, that would be even better, and then you can get through the line quickly and not have to worry about having your bags looked at. All bags will be searched, no matter the size, correct? Yeah. So we're urging you to really put your junk in your trunk and don't bring it with you in a bag. No coolers, no backpacks. Questions?
So if someone shows up with a backpack, they won't be allowed in?
They won't be allowed to bring the backpack in. They'll be asked to leave it in the car. We're going to have signs in all the parking garages. We're going to have signs in all the parking lots, public or private, so people will understand they need to stow their stuff. Preferably put it in your trunk for safekeeping. Don't leave it out in your car so that people can see it. But come prepared, because you need to bring small bags.
I know it sort of goes without saying, but remind folks why bag restrictions.
Well, last year, in between Boat Show and Sunfest, was the Boston Marathon incident. And, we're very sensitive to that issue. All municipalities are. And areas where we're having special events, we want to make sure that we keep everybody safe. So we need you to comply with this. We'll have additional police all around the boat show. And we're, of course, asking you to comply with no cooler, no backpack.
How much of an increase in police are you going to have?
I'm sorry?
Like, how much of an increase in police?
Usually we have one officer at each entrance. This year we'll have 2 officers at each entrance, and then there'll be additional police in the show itself. I don't know exactly how many. But.
Is that just from their overtime budget, or is it a situation? I know sometimes when a group has an event with a permit, that group pays for the overtime.
Correct.
Is that how this is going to be paid?
Correct. Yeah. And we are asking groups that are having private functions on our waterfront to make sure that they have the precautions in place, because we want to keep everybody safe.
Is there extra boat police as well? I'm not sure if West Palm has a...
We have a boat, and we have a police boat, so that will be out there. Fortunately, last year it was out there and picked up, 3 or 4 people out of the drink, out of the intercoastal. So some people think that after spending the day in the sun and in the bar, they can then swim back to their boats. And we had to rescue several people last year, so don't do that.
Anything else folks should be mindful of as they prepare to come down for the boat show?
Well, of course, there are obviously streets closed. You can check those on our website. Parking gets less expensive as you move away from the downtown. So the police parking garage will be open, and that's less than our Clematis Street parking garage will be open. And so there's varying rates depending on where you park.
What about bikes? I know for Sunfest you could do your free valet.
We have bike racks. I don't think they have valet service too. Yeah, no valet service.
Okay. And then I guess just overall, how big of an event is this for the city of West Palm?
Oh, it's huge. Our boat show is starting to rival Fort Lauderdale's boat show. As a matter of fact, last year when I was walking around talking to the vendors, they like our boat show better because they can just walk up Clematis Street, grab lunch, after the boat show, go out in the evening, and it's much more accessible. Last year there was over $1 billion in merchandise, and this year will be even bigger. I happened to be at Good Sam yesterday briefly and just saw the line of boats coming down the Intercoastal. If you were watching the Intercoastal at all yesterday, you see all these huge, beautiful boats coming down the Intercoastal, getting ready to move in for the boat show. So it's a great event for us. It certainly stimulates the economy in our downtown, and it's one of the biggest in the country.
I was going to say, where does this rank in terms of events in downtown West Palm Beach, say Sunfest, things like that, per year? How would you rate this?
Well, I think we get more people for Sunfest than Boat Show, but we get, Christine, you probably know the number better than I do. How many people we get for Boat Show? Do you have an idea?
They'll see close to 70,000 people for the boat show. Sunfest will see close to 200,000. Our Fourth on Flagler event
We
will
get-
get more than 100,000
Yeah.
in a 5-hour period. So.
About, 70, 80,000 for the boat show. More for Sunfest.
And just, and I hate to do this, just to review, because I was having some audio issues in the beginning, what people, in other words, you were going over the bags over there again. I don't know if any, I just need to hear it one more time. So
But, yeah,
yeah.
no backpacks, no coolers, small bags. Every bag will be searched. If you bring a big bag, we'll make you take it back to the car, or you won't be able to come into the boat show. If you need a bag for necessity, like a diaper bag or something, that will be searched.
Maximum size is 12 inches by 12 inches by 6 inches wide. That's why that
12
blue one
inches.
is exactly that. That's
This
the
is what
maximum
that
size.
is. So this is the biggest you can bring. The blue bag. Okay? Boat show done?
I mean, do you feel like the boat show is an opportunity for the city to kind of show off with folks? who are
It's a
coming to that?
wonderful opportunity. Have you ever been?
I have been.
It's fabulous. It's a great opportunity, and our city's ready for it. We look great. Everything downtown is bustling, and so people really enjoy it, the boat show, and we're happy to have it here. Okay, I also wanted to talk about water. There was a report earlier this week and on our water, and there was some indication that perhaps because of the way the testing was being done, that our water was not safe. And I want to be really clear. We have a personnel issue on one side, and that is looking at whether our standard operating procedures were being followed by specific personnel. On the other hand, the quality of our water. The quality of our water has not been affected. These personnel do random testing and other kind of testing, but in addition to that, we do electronic testing every 15 minutes, every day of every week. So 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, every 15 minutes we test our water. And I have charts here to show you, and I don't know if you're going to actually be able to see them, but each of these is from a different location in the city. And I gotta make sure I get this the right way. I go like this. They're from a different location in the city, and there has to be above the green line to indicate that the water's okay. Not only are they from every location in the city, but they're taken from at the water plant. So we test the water at the water plant before it heads out, and then we test it at various locations like St. Mary's, Valley Forge, Cumberland, Palm Beach, and K Street. These are just examples of where we do it. To be problematic, this has to fall below this green line. Now you see some spikes. Those, well, I guess they aren't spikes because they go down, but you see the lines that go below the green line? Those are actually when the system is rebooting. So they're not data on the quality. You'll see this line is consistently well above the green line. And we get these every 15 minutes. So for the newspaper to suggest that our water supply is not safe is irresponsible. We have a person in our water department who is employed by us, but is from the health department, who checks our water on a regular basis to make sure that everything is safe. When we first heard about this situation, we immediately called in the health department. There was no head in the sand, no pussyfooting around. We immediately called in the health department. So I just want to be really clear, and I hope that you will help me share this message, because I want people out there to know that their water is safe, and that we test it on a regular basis. So let's separate out the personnel issue from what we're talking about in terms of quality of water. I just wanted to make sure that's out there. Any questions about?
About the personnel issue, I mean, where are we at that point? Has that been taken care of, and are you confident at this point moving forward, whatever problem it was, that that's been taken care of?
The health department is investigating, and they expect that we should have a report from them hopefully by the end of the week. Now, all of our operating procedures are written down. We have standard operating procedures. Everybody's trained on those operating procedures. And if those operating procedures aren't being followed, then the health department will be able to talk to us about that.
So at this point, no idea whether or not those were actually followed, or if it was just, I guess, hearsay at this point?
I can't say.
Are you doing a separate internal investigation?
Well, and we're going to see what the health department comes up with, and we'll follow up with that. We have had, in addition, there were some equal opportunity complaints that came forward, so we have had doing an internal investigation around the EEOC complaints. So that's taking place.
What exactly do the human testing, what do they come up with that the automatic ones don't do? Why do we need human beings doing this?
Well, you know, I think it's about redundant testing and making sure that we can do that. These are in specific places. So if we need to do it someplace other than specific places, we can do that. I personally have had someone come out to my home and test the water. You can do that. If you have some concern about your water, you can call the water department and have somebody come out and test it. So those are what those people do. And we're looking at that. We're looking at whether they're sufficiently trained and making sure that that happens. But the abundance of information we have suggests that our water is fine.
And this is the county health department that's
Correct.
investigating?
Okay, what other questions do you have about anything else?
Yep, completely different, the latest in the 45th Street flea market.
They will be coming before the Nuisance Abatement Board on April 3rd. This is their second time in front of the Nuisance Abatement Board, so I would suggest that if folks want to be there, they should be there and be able to testify and make a statement. So.
What are they up for?
I'm not clear, but the Nuisance Abatement Board generally addresses police-related activities. They were at the Nuisance Abatement Board a little while ago, and I believe they were given some suggestions as to what they needed to do. So this might be just checking up on whether they've implemented those suggestions.
So no idea whether or not they've actually followed through with what they were told they needed to do.
We need to see that. I think that's what they're trying to find out.
And if they don't?
That'll be up to the Nuisance Abatement Board.
But to make it clear, the nuisance abatement board doesn't have the power to shut them down or anything.
Actually, they do. The Nuisance Abatement Board does have the power to shut them down.
Permanently or temporarily?
I don't know the answer to that. I think they can do it permanently because we have we did a convenience store. So I think they can.
Does the city of West Palm have any stance on the 45th Street flea market?
Well, I'm sure our people will be there. Yeah.
As far as the search for a new police chief is concerned, are you guys looking to hire from within? Are you going to put out an all-out search?
It's my intention to hire from within.
Very is any chance we can have a Hispanic chief of police this time? Since
Well,
we had
everything,
2 applicants last time.
everything's possible.
I hope so.
What's the timeline moving forward? I know there's an interim in place. How long do you think it will take until you have a full-time chief in place?
Hopefully, in a month, I would say. Whoever gets appointed has to be ratified by the city commission, so we have to make sure people, our candidate meets with the city commission, and, that gets on an agenda, so.
So it's your pick, and then they have to look at it and
They
say,
have to ratify
thumbs
it,
up,
yeah.
good to go.
Chief Tomasi said yesterday it's not his call, but he'd love to see Chief Cameron come and stay.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna comment on that.
I know
Well,
last
you
time.
said you have confidence in Chief Cumberland.
I have a huge amount of confidence in Chief Cumberland and Chief Olson. They've done an amazing job. They worked as interim chiefs together, and as assistant chiefs, they've done a wonderful job. And, one of the reasons I really would like to look within is that, I believe that the chief has really made an impact on the department, and we have assistant chiefs and captains who have worked with him for the last couple of years, and I'd like to see what he's done and started, continued, and I think we have the people, we have a very talented police department, and I think there's any number of people who could move into that position.
In Elliot's article about the police chief, in the Post this morning, there's a quote from the chief that says, I accepted a position here in 2012, but if you look at most outside police chiefs, they generally last 2 years to 2.5 years tops. Did you anticipate that somebody you were hiring from outside was only going to last for 2 years?
No,
But that was his intention coming in?
I don't think so. I really don't think that was his intention coming in. I believe that he came here to stay here and would have, but is feeling like it's time for him to retire.
Is another reason you want to hire from within, to maybe have a candidate who's been with the department for a longer period of time than would be here long-term?
Yeah, well, I think you're always bumping up against the drop and the retirement system, and so, it's hard to get a senior person who has the experience that you want, especially when you're dealing with some of the Florida retirement systems. We don't have the Florida retirement system here, but a retirement system.
Is there going to be any outside candidate considered for the position?
I don't know the answer to that at this point. I think Chief has done a great job, and I'm really sorry to see him go. And this was totally his decision. Other questions?
Totally unrelated to that. We've had calls from people complaining about construction at 4 a.m. at Congress and Palm Beach Lakes.
Palm Beach Lakes.
Yeah, apparently there's been concrete pouring at Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard and Congress. So trying to figure out if they have, and I think Elliot will probably dig into this, but figured to ask you as well, if they would have a special permit to start earlier than 7 a.m. Because from what I believe, it's 7 a.m. is the earliest you can start construction.
Yeah, I think our code says 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but I don't know if these particular people have, do you know which corner of?
Not sure. I'll
Okay.
find that out.
We'll dig into it for you and let you
Okay.
know. But our code does say 7 to 7.
Yep.
Anything else?
And then just right now, how many candidates would you say you have at this point for the police chief?
Oh, any number. Could be, no,
But you
there's,
said Olson and then the interim, is that right?
Brian Cumberland, and, I'm just, I'm thinking about it. I only heard it on Friday, so I want to make sure we make a good decision.
Chief Olson is scheduled for drop in
She is.
October.
She is.
But isn't section 16 provide that the chief is the only one that can stay up to 33 years?
There were some changes that were made, but I would have to look at that. I'm not familiar with them. I heard about them.
It's my understanding that it was done when Bradshaw was chief of police. And
That was my understanding.
Right.
But I don't know what it actually says or how.
So if she will be appointed as chief of police, she could stay until her 33.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
But that's certainly a consideration, you know, it would.
Anything else? Great. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.